We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Jason Marshall Jr., Miami Dolphins corner. Rookie through his first, I think, 2 games, has shown some decent promise. This game versus the Lions, he pretty much played every snap out of the slot in the nickel and showed some good things, especially versus the run. Like, I think he had some impact snaps in run defense, which is, I think, a nice surprise. And then versus the Bears, he played pretty much only on the outside and had some good coverage snaps. But it's nice to see him make plays versus the run against Detroit because that was not something I think he was very good at on his college tape. Like, he didn't very much get run involved in run support. He didn't really make many tackles. So I think that's a really promising sign that he's willing to play that physical. I think he showed some decent instincts in zone as well, made pretty good decisions, which is, I think, a solid trait to look at there because that's not something I also saw a ton of in college. I think college was mostly just like very good press man film, very good athlete, and those things are looking solid as well from the limited reps. But I think overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I think it steps in the right direction. Now, I want to see it in the regular season, obviously, but I think the initial part looks good. I think he at least looks up to speed and can play at this NFL level. So leave a like and comment for all, the algorithm, YouTube stuff. It really helps out the channel. Join as a member if you want early access. We'll definitely get to all of this. We're going to get some good film. So yeah, Lions film, he was beating blocks from receivers, which is good. Like, he's got pretty good size, but like, this is not something I was expecting going into this Detroit game because it was not in his college film really at all. The fact that he was out here beating blocks, knifing to the inside, and this is, Bell had some good blocks in this game for the Lions as a receiver. Able to knife to the inside, work through the contact, and then square up and meet the running back in the backfield. Love seeing that. Love seeing the instincts behind this play, the physicality. That's a huge trait that if you are going to play nickel at the NFL level, you got to be able to be a part of the run fit and make plays like that. That is a very big boost to your game. And also just the versatility to playing inside and outside because he played strictly outside in college pretty much. And, I think people were expecting him to be an outside corner, which I still think he will end up being that. But just having that nickel versatility will give him a much higher chance of seeing the field early on in his career. Here was a huge play in man-to-man. Playing outside leverage versus shallow crosser, having to carry this all the way across the field horizontally, not an easy ask for a corner. And this is like a big play in the game to force this incompletion so the Bears don't get in field goal range. And he doesn't allow any separation. He shows off the speed to recover, get back in position, and then good job playing the ball. He is able to hook that outside hip but not hurt him, and then swat down. Really, really nice job there to finish from Jason Marshall. Definitely my favorite rep of his from week 1. He pretty much barely got targeted in week 1, and they ran a lot of man. And then week 2, he was playing a lot of nickel, and they ran a lot of zone. So it was kind of a mixed bag in coverage, but nothing too much to go off of there. Here's another rep versus the run, just getting up on the receiver, able to kind of stack, shed. He just looked more comfortable with being physical, which is a very good sign for him. Able to stack here, and then once he's able to see what's going on with the running back, shed, throw him off, and then help clean up near the line of scrimmage. Just making tackles behind or at the line of scrimmage is just a huge development for Marshall's game. And it's very nice. Here he is on the backside again. Just kind of bullying 85 there. Not a big receiver, but nice to see him at least throwing him around. Here in the nickel again, you can see just him pushing back. Like, he's not involved in the run player, but like, look what he would do to this guy. Push him back multiple yards, so that run did come to his size. He helped him to just like slow things down, constrict run lanes. It just gives me a lot better feel that Marshall did ever have to play like nickel in a real game, which is very possible. The corner room we know is very up for grabs. Like, pretty much anyone could play at any time. It's the biggest question mark on the team. So having that nickel potential versatility, makes me feel a lot better about that if he had to play. Then the zone stuff. I think he just showed a better feel. Like, they're in cover 3 here, so he's the flat defender, and he recognizes like number 2, instantly working to the inside. His eyes are working the quarterback. He's kind of reading this. He gains some depth, and now he understands like this is mesh. Like, this is a pretty basic concept, and he identifies 18 working across formation. He sees it. He even sits down in the hook, and he has to fly down to make that tackle. Shouldn't even be the first one to get there. Like, that's not really his responsibility, but he still ends up getting there to make a tackle. Like, not the greatest, like, most impactful play in the world. Just nice to see at least he's feeling things, seeing things decently well, and then coming up and making a tackle underneath. And that seemed pretty constant. This is a play I saw him kind of get blamed for from when we were watching live. Now, he's playing the nickel. Dolphins do this a lot in In last year they did it a lot, where they rotate the nickel to play as a deep half defender. So he has to disguise and then get out and play deep half. Like look where John Saunders Jr. is. Jason Marshall is supposed to get back and play nearly that deep, you know? And then they just throw the quick seam route behind that. It's just a perfect play call to beat this. But with what Jason Marshall's doing, having to bail out, there's pretty much no chance he has of actually making a play on this over the middle. Pretty much an impossible ask. So I would say that's one I wouldn't mark him down too much for just based on the play call. It puts him in a very difficult position. Here's another rep where he's just dropping in zone. Maybe you want to see more of a reroute on 83 there. It seems like he kind of takes himself slightly out of position, missed that first punch, but at least making him move a little bit off his spot. Identify, sink your hips, close downhill, pretty good transitions, and then just help make a tackle, limit yak opportunities, uh, especially on plays that are not necessarily like the plays where you're getting targeted. Like it's not even in your zone. You're just like the guy could potentially work into your stuff. Here's another sort of just solid heads up play, dropping as like this strong side hook here. He sees the QBs like rolling out, so he keeps kind of gaining depth, opening his hips in this direction, knowing just like the field's going to be split in half here. Gains depth to take away this throw, which Hendon Hooker could have potentially taken. If Marshall doesn't gain that depth there, he probably gets this lane to throw it to. So just good feel, instincts, awareness in those spots. Also, like this was a 3rd and 11 situation. This play, I like that. This is a zone, but he plays it almost like a zone match. Just sees number 2 working vertically. Gonna just turn and follow him and almost play it like I'm running trail because he has help over the top. Just playing trail. Don't have to just play true vision to the quarterback because sometimes when they're behind you like that, you lose sight of where they're gonna actually be. So just make sure you take away that quick window. Ball ends up, good job by Grayson Murphy to get that pressure. But yeah, just like feeling Marshall making heads up plays. That's something I think was inconsistent in college. So the parts that I had problems with out of college have looked definitely better already in the preseason. That's typically a good sign. It was similar last year for like Patrick Paul, who still had his struggles. Like if Jason Marshall played in the regular season, he's obviously going to have his struggles. But the fact that he's already shown improvement from some of the college struggles is always a very good sign. Here's at the top playing press man. I like to see him get the reroute at the line, get the jam, kind of slow that down, get back in your positioning, use your hands again, still under 5 yards to still slow down and redirect. The initial part of that play is very good. They get the quick pressure. And right here when he sinks hips, he probably could sink hips on the comeback better and match this. But the play specifically, this result doesn't matter. But process, I think at this point could be played a little bit better to match. But the initial part of the play with the press and the redirect, I think he does a pretty good job with his feet, fluid hips. Overall, pretty nice work there from Marshall. Just looked comfortable, man. Like here's man-to-man on the outside. They throw a screen. He sees now that they're working the inside to block it. Help, get involved for a tackle. Here, he's able to pass stuff off. Like this wide receiver's tight aligned. He understands the situation. Receiver, he identifies. Boom. Receiver first step to the inside. Pass that off. Eyes to find number 2 working out of the flat. Don't want to get out leverage there. He almost does. He ends up, able to stay in the hip pocket. Don't allow that to get away. Showing some comfortability and off man in this situation, just being patient, does a good job being square, and he can just look at the anticipation. He shows anticipation for the break because he was already stepping, and you could see he was already ready to break to the inside before the receiver actually did it, and he stays in the hip pocket. They don't actually, go to his side, but I think that's pretty good coverage. Here was the fade touchdown. They ran the same concept to both sides of the field, and you could just see his rep versus BJ Adams. BJ Adams, gets beat there initially. Marshall does not allow that initial separation. He gets better hands on the line of scrimmage, and he's in the hip pocket. Like if it was thrown to his side, that wouldn't have been a touchdown. Really solid rep there. And then just another good job of identifying what's going on, making these pass offs. Number 1's first step, he identifies shallow cross, pass it off, communicate, give it like an undercall, and then find number 2. See number 2's instantly working upfield. Open, turn your hips, run with that. He's running to the corner. You take that away. Just wasn't really getting targeted much in this game. But yeah, those are all good examples of Marshall just being in the correct position. And then I think the big major positive is that he was in the right, like making plays versus the run. Very, very good. Exactly what we needed to see from Jason Marshall, I think, in those first 2 games. I don't know when he'll actually end up getting playing time, but I do think at some point in this season, he's got to get thrusted in there, I think, with that corner room. So if you guys should do that, comment and subscribe, and that's it.